Hello. Testing, testing. This is a test to see if all is well. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello. Hi. Okay, you can. All right, so tell me where I'm at. Let me see something. Okay, I think we're good. Just getting some stuff situated over here. Been a minute. Why did I open up Spotify? What is going on here? Calm down, Vexed. Calm down. Hey, well, how's it going? Hey, Save the Bees, Ellie, how's it going? Toby, what's up? Let's see, Mercury, Henry, I see you. All is well. I'm happy about that. Howdy, Vex, how you doing? How is everybody's Sunday? Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hope all is well. Today's been an interesting day so far for me. Let's see. I woke up. Didn't do much besides get ready for the stream and got some breakfast. That's about it. So it hasn't been that interesting at all, actually. It just been took a minute to get stuff situated because it's been a minute since I've streamed. But I'm glad you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for showing up. So why are we here? Why are we here again for? Oh yeah. The reason why I'm doing this stream, one, because I haven't streamed in a while. Two, because I haven't streamed in a while. And three, because I haven't done a world building video in a while, and this has been on my mind recently. So I decided it was between this or I'm gonna talk like just Star Wars. I'm gonna talk about my feelings, express my feelings on Star Wars. It's gonna be that or this. I decided to go with this because world building has been on my mind more recently. So I said, you know what? I'll just do that. So that is why we're here. But mostly because I haven't streamed in a while. I wanted to talk to you guys. E3 this week. Super happy you're bringing back your world building series. Why, thank you. I don't know if this is an official bringing back, but I'm at least doing one right now. I'm at least doing one right now, so I guess that works. Hunter x Hunter is your favorite anime. I see you. I see you. Okay. How many people are in here right now? 131. Okay, I'll start in about 1 minute. At 12:35, I'll start. I'll start talking about this topic I want to talk about. One Piece. I still haven't watched One Piece, and I probably never will. I don't know why that anime never actually got my attention. I don't know why. That's a question I have to ask myself why I never watched One Piece. Hunter x Hunter is the best. I see you. Pokemon. I want to be the very best. Hunter x Hunter is great. I agree. It is. It's very enjoyable. All right. It's 12:35. I think I sent out a tweet already. Yes, I did. All right. I'll get started now. So, the last time. Oh, wait, let me get this. Let me move this here. Boop. Oh, I messed up. Boop. All right. So the last time I did a building video, I discussed how writers use background characters to make their world feel alive. Well, this time around, we're going to be focusing on integral backdrop, or the setting of an arc or a plot, and how it can be used to make a world feel real, lived in, and how it relates to the world building overall. How it can help or hurts from the perspective of the viewer, or the Vex viewer, as in me, or you. I'm not talking about the obvious question like, how do you make your setting feel or look realistic? I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the other stuff that some people may ignore or not really pay attention to, that I pay attention to for whatever reason. That's just how my brain works. Let's go out. I'm going ahead and put out the disclaimer. I am not a writer. I never claimed to be one. I am a absorber of content. I'm a viewer. Once a viewer is immersed in a world, they will be able to suspend disbelief and fully engage with the story and the characters. I know what I like to see. I know what works for me. I know what resonates with me, and I'm free to express that. And guess what? You are too. If anyone told you otherwise, they're full of crap. Okay? All right. So if you go to a restaurant and you order the risotto, and they give you some, and it's salty as shit, and then someone next to you, and you express that this food is freaking salty, and then someone next to you or someone across the restaurant says, "Hey, make your own risotto," you can tell that person to fuck off. All right? Okay. Now let's get started. I'm just kidding, but actually I'm serious, but kind of kidding at the same time. But I'm serious, but mostly serious. Kind of kidding. All right. So the integral setting is just a specific place and time that plays an important role in the story. All right. It can affect speech, action of the characters, and the plot. It's very simple stuff. To start off this discussion, we're going to take a look at the 2011 anime series, Hunter x Hunter. Very popular, very, very successful, beloved anime. I'm not talking about any new manga. All right. I'm not talking about any new movie, canon or uncanon. All right. I'm just talking about the 2011 anime series. Okay. Nothing else, nothing more. That's it. And we're just going to head on over to the Heaven's Arena arc, or the Heaven's Arena arc. Let me make sure I said that clearly. Now, this arc starts with our main characters, Gun and Killua, heading to the Heaven's Arena to make some money while training. Right? If I remember that correctly. That's exactly what happens. What is Heaven's Arena? Well, it's a tower combat arena, the world's most popular battle site, where victorious fighters ascend to higher floors as a part of a reward system. It's the fourth largest building in the world and has 251 floors. Inside, thousands of martial artists compete daily in order to test their skills and advance to higher floors. All right. Competitors are given prize money for advancing on each of the first 199 floors. The floor above the 200 floor offer no prize money, only fame and glory. The 21 highest ranked competitors are called floor masters, and they're given their own floor, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. I would want my own damn floor. That's crazy, like the entire floor to myself. Once you reach the 200th floor, losing 4 matches results in disqualification, while winning 10 matches results in being awarded the right to challenge a floor master. So if you reach the 200th floor, you win 10 times, you can then challenge a floor master. If you lose 4 times, you're out of there. Basically, that's pretty much what it is. The top floor of the Heavens Arena holds a biannual tournament called Battle Olympia, and the victor is allowed to live on the top floor of an exclusive penthouse. So if you win the whole thing, you go, well, not the whole thing, but the whole thing. If you win the Battle Olympia, you are then allowed to stay in the penthouse suite at the top of the tower. Awesome stuff, if you ask me. That's a lot of well, first of all, that's a hell of a tower, number one, and that is a lot of freaking exposition about the Heavens Arena. And of course, because they gave us all this information, since they spent the time to lay it all out there and tell us all this information about this goddamn arena, because of all that, of course, logically, it only makes sense that since Gun, however you want to say it, is our main protagonist, he's going to reach the 200th floor. He's going to get 10 wins. He's going to defeat the floor master, one of the floor masters, and compete in the Battle Olympia, right? Obviously, right? That's how it's gonna go down. No. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Gun and Killua don't give a shit. They don't care about any of that. They're like, I got better things to do. The only thing that interests Gun is challenging Hikosa, who just happened to be there. He just happened to be there. It was complete coincidence that he was there. He couldn't even beat a floor master even if he wanted to. The man is not strong enough. Or the kid, I should say. The kid is not strong enough. He just learned Nin like a couple of months ago before he fought Hikosa. Why did they bother to give us all this useless information? Why? Let me look at the chat real quick. I've been talking a lot. 100x100 is great writing. Yes, it's very, yes, I agree. But why? Why? Yeah, Nin is very complicated. I agree with you. Why did they bother giving us all this information? Why? Why do we need to know about the biannual tournament called the Battle Olympia? Why do we need to know that this is the 4th tallest building in the world? Why do we need to know about the floor masters? Why do we need to know about any of this crap if it doesn't affect the plot? Well, there's this thing called what was it? There's this thing called world building. Oh, yeah, that's right. World building. That's what it is. And the writers want his or her world to feel rich and lived in real. So even though it doesn't affect Gun, the main character's journey in the series, the writer felt it was important to include it. Calling out the fact that this is just the 4th largest tower in a small, it's a small thing. It's a small thing. Like that information, that is just the 4th largest tower. But it gives the viewer the sense that there's more to see, that there's a greater world out there. It hints at a scale beyond the screen, right? Beyond the pages of, if it's a book, beyond the pages of the book, or beyond the screen. It hints at a greater world out there, and that's good. This also can apply to Heaven's Arena. If you think about it, there's more to see. We don't see the floor masters. We don't see the top floor. We don't see the penthouse. And that's fine. After all, there are places in the world around us that many people don't ever get to see. That's life. It's real life. It reflects reality. This is a rich, lived-in world, and Gun, your protagonist, is just a freaking kid. All right? He's just a kid. And it should feel that way within the world. That's how it should feel. Hey, what's up? I see you in the chat. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Okay, let me refocus. I got distracted in the chat. It should. Where was I? It should feel. It reflects real life, right? That's how real life is. You don't get to see everything. All right. And Gunn is just a freaking kid, and it should feel that way, guys. In most cases, the goal should be to make your characters feel small. The goal should make your characters, or the viewer should get a sense that the character is small within the world. Now, what the hell does that mean? Some of you might be saying, what the hell is this guy even talking about? Vex been hitting the freaking liquor early in the morning. What do you mean the characters feel small? These are the freaking character. The characters, especially the main character, is his journey. This is the character journey. So why should they feel small? Well, I'm not talking about the story. I'm not talking about the plot. I'm talking about the world. They should feel small in the world they are in most cases, unless they're like a god or something like that who created a world, and that's a little different, right? But they should feel small. The biggest takeaway from this stream, if I had to say what the biggest takeaway would be, is we, the audience, should care about the characters. We should care, the viewers, we should care about the characters. The world should not give a shit. I'm gonna say that again. It felt good saying that. It really did. It felt good saying that. The world should not give a shit about the characters. Not at all. More times than not. We should get a sense that the heavens arena would carry on if Gon and Killua never showed up. If they never appeared at all, we should get a sense that Heaven's Arena would just carry on perfectly fine. Heaven's Arena existed before, and it will continue to exist well after they're gone. There's nothing special about their arrival. They're just two random kids. That's it. Two young fighters. That is it. Too often, it feels like some writers make their characters seem larger than life in a way that feels unnatural. They're larger to their worlds. They bend the world to their characters, when it should be the other way around. The characters should bend to the world, not the other way around. The world should not bend to your characters. That's the first and foremost. Okay, let me look at the chat real quick. It's context for the audience. Giving life to the world so the characters can make their journey through it. The wait for the stakes. Absolutely. The great amazing elevator girl. Calm down. How do you get world building done without shoving exposition dumps onto the audience? Well, expedition doesn't have to be that long, and it doesn't have to be uninteresting too. So, a lot of the times, the audience, like I just speak for myself. A lot of the times, you want to hear about something, just don't let it drag. You hit the beats. You give us the little exposition. You show the visuals to go along with the expedition. You don't just have the character sitting down talking like they're giving a lecture. You give the exposition while you show the visuals, and then you move along. Expedition does not have to be something that's boring or drawn out or lazy, like someone sitting at a table and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on," and you're just seeing them talk. It doesn't have to be that. It can be. You can give visuals along with it. I'm just talking about walking in terms of a show. A book that's a little different. Preach, Vex. Thank you. Yeah, so that's that, right? So let me just continue. Now, for example, if we're talking about bending the world to your characters, something you shouldn't do, right? Let's say you have a group of 4 girls, just a random group of 4 girls. No show in particular. Let's say you have a group of 4 girls who were new attendees at an institution dedicated to training huntsmen and huntresses. If in 2 years, those 4 girls are responsible for delivering and coming up with a plan to evacuate an entire kingdom of people across the world, because the legitimate huntsmen and huntresses are either dead, incompetent, or oblivious, you have to ask yourself, does this feel natural? Does it make sense? Or are they bending the world to their characters? That's what you're going to have to ask yourself. I'll get to the super chats in a second if they're coming in. Thanks for the super chats. I'll get to it in a second. That's what you're going to have to ask yourself. Or, that's one example. Or, here's another thing you have to ask yourself. If you're told that the city of Mistral is very much racist, more racist than the place you've just been toward the Faunus, and then a Faunus girl shows up leading an army of Faunus foreigners through the streets of Mistral without any resistance of any kind, you have to ask yourself again, does this make sense, or are they bending the world to their characters? And finally, when a message needs to be delivered to the entire world, and it needs to be taken seriously, it's life or death situation, would you let the youngest among you be the one to deliver a message? A girl who could still pass for a 15-year-old? Does that make sense? Just because she's the main character, does that make sense? Well, to be fair, in this situation, it's not really bending to the world, is it? It's more about like the other characters being stupid and letting the girl who can still pass for a 15-year-old, even though she's 17, she can still pass for a 15. You're letting her deliver a message to the entire world about a situation where Ironwood can't be trusted, and there's a woman named Salem who's a freaking leader of the Grimm. They could have just had the damn world-renowned scientist deliver the damn message. It would have had would have presented a bit of believability, and it would have looked less like a freaking prank. But this is a question we have to ask ourselves. Does it make sense, or are the characters bending to the main character? Basically, are the other characters, in this case, may not be the world. In this case, it might be the characters. Are the other characters bending to the will and bending the knee to RWBY? Right? Does it make any sense? All right, let me look at the super chats real quick. One second. Yeah, this is these are questions you have to ask yourself, man. Just Sup from Russia. Let me make sure this is right. Yeah, it is. Sup from Russia. Been with you ever since RWBY season 7. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. What a waste. Such a shame. Rip Monty. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. True Omen. Marcus Henry. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care if your Streamlabs are up, but I sent a message there. Oh, did you? It should have been. Okay. I'll plan on looking. So I'll look there. Appreciate it, Marcus. I was going to look at both. The super chat and Streamlabs. I was going to toggle it. I'll look at it in a second. Swift Strike. You can use the One Piece formula where the characters learn that with the viewers about the world they are journeying through. Agreed. Even though I haven't watched One Piece, I'll take your word for it that that's correct. Appreciate the super chat. It might be the same person every time, but it seems like everybody has watched One Piece. I have not. Am I like the only person in history has not watched One Piece? Marcus Henry, I see your super chat or Streamlabs. I was gonna get there. Another way Hunter x Hunter makes the characters feel small is that a lot of the antagonist goals don't resolve around the protagonist. The goals are bigger than the protagonist. Agreed. That's another good point. So that but that point doesn't agreed. So I can't really talk about that in this video. I'm focusing more on the integral setting. But yeah, agreed. They're good at that. They're very good at making the characters feel small, and they do it in a lot of different ways. From how they interact with the characters to the even to how they structure the power levels. You have the kids, and you have different tiers of strength, and they show that, and they make it clear to you, and they do a good job. They do a very good job. Agreed. Thanks for the Streamlabs. They do a very good job. They're one of the better shows that you want to look at world building and how they make characters seem small, and they do a really good job there. Let me go back to the am I the only person who haven't seen One Piece? Haven't watched One Piece either. Okay, there you go. Thanks Ali, appreciate it. Thank you for making me not feel so bad for not being the only person not watching One Piece. There's like what, 1,000 episodes of One Piece, something like that. I don't know. I'm joking. I have no idea how many episodes of One Piece there is. But yeah, you gotta make your characters feel small, man. Where was I in my spill? Oh yeah, RWBY and her freaking speech to the world, and they're like, it doesn't, whatever. All right, let's leave that alone. So that's what I wanted to talk about in terms of Hunter x Hunter. Now let's transition to another integral setting, and that would be in the show RWBY, that some of you may have heard of. Most of you probably don't know what the show is, but we're going to be talking about the Vital Festival in Vale, and that'll be our integral setting in this show, since we're putting the Heaven's Arena to the side, and we're now focusing on the Vital Festival in Vale as our new integral setting. Now, I believe the first time the Vital Festival was mentioned was Chapter 11 of Volume 1. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was Chapter 11 of Volume 1. So what is the Vital Festival? Well, let's see. The Vital Festival was created to serve as a celebration of peace between the kingdoms. This came about after the end of the Great War, when they established new laws, new huntsman academies, and new traditions. Every 2 years, a kingdom would be chosen to open its doors, allowing citizens from every corner of Remnants to meet and indulge in one another's cultures. There were dances, parades, and the pinnacle of the event is a tournament. Oh, too far. Here we go. Now that's all fine, right? That's all fine, but let's just go into a bit more detail about how this thing started, all right? Now, the King of Vale lays waste to Atlas and Mistral, or the Atlas and Mistral army, ending the 10-year Great War. Historians say, or according to the World of Remnants and according to Crow and the crew, historians say that the most of the stories are hyperbole in regard to how the fighting stopped. They don't really know what went down and how it's ended. They don't really believe the stories. They think it's kind of hyperbole. After the war ended, they had a truce or a treaty or a agreement, whatever, on the island of Vital, and they established, like I said, new laws, redistributed the land, governments restructured, created new schools and the vaults and all that. So even the schools and the vaults were created after the Great War, and they abolished slavery. So remember that. Redistributed the land. Governments restructured. Created new schools. Created the vaults. And put the relics in the vaults. And abolished slavery. So now this is world building, guys. This is what these world remnants are for. They build the world. 10-year war. Then all that happened afterwards. That's what caused all this. All of what we've seen so far in the show came after the Great War. That's fine. That's fine world building. They're giving us some history and some context. Great. Or I should say it would be great, but there's like one detail about our integral setting, the Vital Festival tournament, or the Vital Festival, that blows this entire thing up in terms of realism, in terms of believability. That big thing came from a very small detail. In this, when I talk about RWBY, we're going to be talking about the big and the small. The big and the small. There's something that are big issues with the world building, and there's something that are kind of small that would help, right? We're going to be talking about the big and the small. So a big thing here. This is big. Some of you know where I'm going to go with this, so I'm just going to go ahead and show it. What about this is a problem? Something here is off. Something about this poster or this billboard or whatever the hell you want to call this is kind of funny. Well, here's the detail. This is the 40th Vital Festival tournament. First of all, there's two problems here, right? Well, I'll get to that in a second here, but this is the 40th Vital Festival tournament, the 40th one. I hate this damn name of this stupid tournament. Vital Festival. This is and it happens every 2 years. They actually screwed that up. See how it says the 4th annual Vital Festival? It should say biannual, but they can't even get that right. It should be the 40th biannual tournament, but it says the annual, whatever reason. So this is the 40th biannual tournament of the Vital Festival tournament. All right. 40th, which means it happened every 2 years because it's biannual. So the Great War ended 80 years ago. Let's just stop. Let's just marinate on that. Let's just marinate on that. The Great War ended 80 years ago. I'm gonna say it one more time for the people who just might have just cranked up the volume. People who just walk back in and catch the stream. The Vital Festival tournament. This is the 40th biannual. The Great War ended 80 years ago. What's up, Murder? How you doing? What's up, Arnold? 80. Which means they abolished slavery 80 years ago? Excuse me? The schools were created 80 years ago? The vaults were created 80 years ago? Guys, there are faunists who are still alive that used to be slaves. They're old as shit, sure, but they're still alive. It's that recent. Slavery ended 80 years ago. You got faunists who are still alive. Cool, I'm sure there's faunists over the age of 80. Probably a 100-year-old faunist somewhere, right? There are faunists who are still alive somewhere who used to be slaves. And you got people like Sun who have no idea about the history of the faunist and menagerie when it was that recent. Guys, this is not slavery happened 500 years ago or even 280. There are people who are still alive who are on the battlefield. 100-year-old people who are still alive who know who are there. There are soldiers who are probably still alive that might have been there if they're young enough. If they're like anywhere from 15 to 20 years old, there might be people who are still alive who saw what happened during the Great War. And even if they weren't alive, Even if they're all dead, it should be well documented because it was 80 freaking years ago. Imagine, and according to Crow, they just don't know. They're not historians. They're not sure what's going on here. They're not complete. They don't have any clue. They're not sure. Like they're kind of, it's kind of up in the air. So let me get this straight. Imagine if in the real world that we live in, right? Historians are like, oh, we don't know what happened during World War II. We're not sure. We're not sure. What? You're not sure? It sounds like hyperbole. You're not sure what happened? Look at the world. Look at the technology of this world. Look at the technology of this world. You have mech suits. You have technology where people can measure your aura at a distance, right? This thing about the technology of this world. Mech suits. You can measure people. You can measure people's aura. They're capable of replacing large parts of the human body with robotics, and it functions like the real thing. Just Yang needs an arm, just slap on a metal arm. Everything's cool. Just give me my metal arm, slap it on. It works, functions perfectly. Think about the technology of the world. Think about it. You're telling me there weren't cameras back in the day? 80 years ago, there weren't cameras? There weren't any kind of image capturing technology? They don't know what happened? No one documented it? There weren't any cameras, no pictures, no image capturing stuff, no kind of technology that could capture what happened 80 years ago? They're unclear? Historians don't know what went down? It's complete bullshit. They should know what happened. It was 80 years ago. Not 500, not 200, 80. They talk about these things as if it's like olden times in World of Remnants. They talk about it like, oh, it had been such a long back in the day. Oh, they talk about it like they're wondering whether Jesus walked on water. This was 80 years ago, not 1,000. What? And then you got Cinder's clown ass like, oh, what did she say in Volume 5 when she went down to the vault? This is the first maiden in, well, I don't know how many years. What? You don't know how many years it's been? She's like, I don't know how many years it's been since someone opened the vaults. It's been at least 80. It's been at least 80, Cinder. Everyone should know this. What? Do you see how quickly one bit of detail about an integral setting, one bit of detail, just one thing can screw up the whole thing. Can pull a viewer out of the situation. The whole goal is to get the viewer to be immersed, right? To be so locked into the story, like the world is so rich and so interesting, and it makes so much sense that you're just locked into the story and you just believe everything. You just believe everything comes to you in a way that is believable, right? It's all believable to you. Like you can buy it all because the world has been sold to you in a way that makes you, it grips you, right? This kind of stuff pulls you right out of it. Just that one bit of detail. Usually, I like when writers incorporate this kind of stuff, right? I like it. I like when writers give us this type of details. Like I like when it gives you a sense of the history and time. Makes the world feel like it exists beyond the characters. It makes you feel like there's a world that exists beyond Team RWBY. There was a 39th Vital Festival before. There was like 2 years ago. There was another Vital Festival. There's another one before that. In 2 years from now, there'll be another one. Right? There's a greater world. There's a greater world out there, and history and time can help shape that for you in your mind. But it only works if you have your world figured out. It only works if you're not going to undercut your own world building by adding a detail about the 40th biannual. You know, it says annual. The 40th biannual freaking Vital Festival. And they act like everything that happened 80 years ago is back in the olden days. And back in the freaking ancient times. I mean, this kind of stuff, this type of detail really works to make the world feel more lived in and make it feel more real. But it only works if you have it thought out. In this case, They would have been better off just leaving it out. Just don't say anything. Just don't call it anything. Just call it the Vinyl Festival, the biannual Vinyl Festival. Don't give another date. Don't give a number at all. It would have been better off. Just leave it out. That's what they should have done. If you don't, like I said, it's good if you know what you're doing. It's good if you have like understanding of how you set up your world and the history of your world. If the world building is good, then great. It's only going to add to it. But if you don't have it figured out, if you don't know what you're doing, leave it off, please. Jesus. Let me check my super chat to see if in Streamlabs. Another one from Marcus Henry. Appreciate it, Marcus. The reason why a lot of the talks about One Piece in a world building stream is because One Piece is one of the best world building media, period. You don't have 1,000 episodes for no reason. I hear you. That's one hell of a binge, a 1,000 episodes. Thanks for super chat. That's one hell of a binge there. You gotta lock in for that show. Imagine watching one episode a day. About 3 years of freaking One Piece. Man, that's crazy. I'm gonna check super chats. Okay. Shu Omen. RWBY plot logic is inspired by one of the Crusades back in the day, when church sent army of children to crusade because they believed that the purity would defend them against sin. Jesus. Thanks, True Omen, for the 1,000 chapters of One Piece, huh? Thanks for the super chat, my friend. All right, so let's. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Vinyl Festival. So I could stop right there. All right, that's so huge that enough is world building busting, right? But let's talk about some other stuff that maybe someone hasn't thought about. Like I could stop right there, but this is continue about the Vinyl Festival. So the Vinyl Festival is a time to indulge in one another's cultures, according to the World of Remnant. That really didn't happen, if we're being completely honest. Not really seeing the differences in cultures. If you're going to have a Vinyl Festival where kingdoms come together, maybe you should show the different teachers or the different mentors. Maybe we could see the differences in how they teach and how they lead. You know, that could be like a different culture thing, right? That could be a culture shock, that we could see the differences and compare and contrast. That didn't really happen. Maybe we could see the differences in how they dress and talk. Now, to be fair, we did see a bit of that with Sun, right? He came to Beacon because of the Vinyl Festival. The way he dresses and the way he behaves reflects how the people of Vacuo aren't as prim and proper as the other folks, right? So that worked as a way to, like, you know, use the Vinyl Festival to bring in a new character and maybe show some differences in the culture. So that worked for the most part. So I'll give them credit there. But they should have done more of that. But we really didn't get a lot of it. We should have got more of it, in my opinion. There's a bunch of stuff they could have done. You never really get the sense during the Vinyl Festival tournament, or during the Vinyl Festival to be more exact, you never really get a sense that there's this big festival happening where people from all parts of the world are coming together. Even during the dance, even during some of the celebrations, you never really get a sense that an entire different cultures and different people from different parts of the world are coming together. You never really get that sense. Even during the Vinyl Festival tournament in Volume 3. I didn't feel that way, to be completely honest with you. So now that we're on the topic of the tournament, which is the big pinnacle of the Vinyl Festival, let's just jump on into the tournament. Now here's a thing that some people might not think about, but I thought about it recently. They open up the Volume 3, actually, the entire volume, but they open up the introduction to the Vinyl Festival tournament with our main cast of girls fighting. That's how they open it up, with Team RWBY fighting. Now that's perfectly fine, right? That's fine. But again, if you're trying to make your world feel small and make your world feel alive and make sure that people get this sense that it exists beyond your main cast of characters, I might have opened up with two random teams fighting, and maybe our heroes are acting as spectators. So you have two teams that we don't know yet at all fight, and the Team RWBY are watching. And I think that would have been very effective to like make your world feel more, to make the character feel more smaller in this world. It's not like again, like I'm talking about the big and the small. The thing I was talking about before, that's the big. This one is a small thing. It's a small thing, not a big deal, but it really works. It can work to really build upon what I was talking about earlier. These things can be really effective, and you may not even notice it. Little things like that can go a long way towards making your world feel alive and lived in. For example, Hunter did this, right? When Killua and Gun walked into Heaven's Arena, there were fights happening, and they were like the outsiders looking in, and like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, it gives you a sense that this thing exists beyond your characters. You're not bending the world to your characters. The characters are bending to the world. So that stuff like that is really effective for me, of making your world feel like it exists beyond your characters. I like that a lot. It's good. It's a cartoon. I see you, Floof. I see you. Now, but that's a small thing. A bigger issue, that's still a small thing. It's still small, but a bigger issue is going forward in Volume 3. Every fight, not just the first fight. The first fight is one thing, but every fight we see involves a character we already know, and the randos they're fighting are irrelevant, right? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. These are a bunch of randos they're fighting. Irrelevant characters that no one cares about. I think it would have been smart to introduce a new major character during the tournament. We've seen this across different animes. We've even seen it in a little bit in the show Invincible, where it wasn't really a tournament, but it was kind of like the trial for the Guardians, and we were introduced to new characters to the trial, and that happens a lot of time in anime where you're introduced to new characters. I think it would have been smart to introduce a major character during the tournament. Instead of fighting a bunch of randos, you introduce a interesting character via the tournament. You get the sense that this is an interesting character, or you get a sense that interesting characters can come from anywhere. Because the world is alive and there are real people out there with real stories, and they could come from anywhere, even from the tournament, right? I mean, just think about it. Oh yeah, think about this. The best characters are all here from all the academies. The best in the world are all here. None of the top fighters have an interesting story. None of them. None of the people that are actually fighting are compelling or interesting. Think about this. I talk about how many characters feel small, right? How you have to make your character feel small. I'll talk about that this stream, right? Check this out. All of the groups we cared about, all of them, made it to the one-on-one finals. All of them made it to the one-on-one finals. Every single one of them. All of them. Penny's team, Team RWBY, Team Sun, I'm missing one, Team Juniper, all of them made it to the finals. So it just so happens that our main cast of characters all just happen to be badasses. They're all the best of the best. What a coincidence. Now, does that ring true? Or are they forcing, not forcing, the words I used was, or are they bending the world to their characters? How is it that all of our characters that we know, all of the teams that we know, even down to Mercury, with Team Crime, you want to call them Team Crime, how do they all make it to the finals? All of them. What a coincidence that our main group of characters are the ones that made it all the way to the finals. Come on, guys. Nobody was able to give them an L. None of them got an upset on the way to the finals. They all made it, huh? Penny, Mercury, Pyrrha, Yang, Sun, they all made it. Then you got these 3 randos in here. Who are these guys? I mean, make your world feel real and lived in. Don't bend the world to your characters. It's okay if one of the main people you know gets lost. It makes it feel more real. It makes it feel more lived in. It makes it feel more authentic. They did not have to make it so all of them made it to the finals. They did not have to do that. They could have shown them, one of them at least, take an L. Like, build up a new character through the tournament. You know? Make this seem real. Make this seem like it's something, like it's a rich world where anything can happen. And like, come on. They all made it to the finals, right? I didn't even realize that until like recently when I thought about it. Like, wait, they all made it to the finals, huh? All the people that we know. Basically, anybody that Team RWBY knows, anybody that at any point contacted Team RWBY made it to the finals. Like, really? Out of all the tournaments, out of all the different kingdoms that sent teams, all the badasses in the world, across all these schools, all of our folks made it to the finals. Come on. Make your characters feel small. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, now, the last thing about the Vital Festival that I want to talk about, and if people who've been following my channel for a while, I think you probably know where I'm going with this. It's a big thing that's pissed me off about the writing in the show for a while, and it's really bothered me for a while. This is a huge thing. Like I said before, we're talking about the big and the small. The big and the small. This is a huge. This is a massive, right? This is huge. I talk about this a lot of times. It's one of the most egregious errors these writers have made. They go out of their way. They go completely out of their way to tell us that the Vital Festival is this great, significant, importance, and prestigious event. A great event of significance, importance, and prestige. They broadcast this event worldwide. Everyone can see it. It's the biggest thing out there. Everyone is glued to their seats. Everyone is watching. It's like the damn Olympics or the World Cup. Team RWBY competes. Weiss and Blake are already well known in various circles. Weiss amongst the Atlas folk, Blake amongst the Menagerie folk. The entire world saw Yang break Mercury's leg. She was disqualified. Not only that, but there was a massive attack at the event that was unprecedented. An unprecedented attack that stopped the freaking tournament. They should all be famous. They should all be famous. I mean, this is like indefensible. It's garbage. There's really no nice way to put this. It's really, really bad. No one recognizes them from the Vital Festival tournament. No one. No one recognizes these chicks. They even go as far as to have, like, the writers, they double down on the foolishness by having RWBY look flabbergasted when Pietro said he knew who they were. She was completely, you know us? How could you possibly know us? How could this be? Have you been spying on us all these years? How do you know who we are? This is shocking. How could you possibly know? It's embarrassing. At this point, I refuse to believe that they're conscious of this. I refuse to believe that they're saying to themselves, okay, we know a lot of people saw them, but we're just not going to acknowledge it. We're just going to pretend like it's not happening. I can't believe that. I think they're oblivious. I think the writers, because no way you could actually have this scene where Ruby says, "You know us," and be conscious of it? I would hope so. I would hope not. I don't know. I don't know what's worse, being conscious of the fact that they should be recognized in doing this, or being oblivious to the fact that you created a world where they were seen worldwide and you're going to ignore it. I don't know what's worse, but I can't possibly believe that they're conscious of this and they're choosing to ignore it. I think they're oblivious. I think they don't realize what they're doing here. I don't think they realize that they are undercutting their world big time. What was the point of all of that? What was the point of all that talk about the Vital Festival and showing everyone watching them all across the world if it's not going to matter? If you're not going to let us know that they're in the public eye and people will recognize them. What is the ramifications of all of that being on TV if they're not gonna be recognized? And why are you having Team RWBY and everyone around them act bewildered when someone recognizes them or someone knows who they are when they competed in the goddamn Vital Festival? The writers for this show, they don't respect their world. And that is why the world building for the show is bad and will continue to be bad, is because they don't respect it. They don't respect their own world. And no one's putting a gun to their head and telling them not to respect their own world. They're choosing to do this. And I just have to call it like I see it. I mean, there's no other way I can put it. So those are like some big things about the so you have two differences, two different integral settings. You have the Heavens Arena, you have the Vital Festival in Vale. And you see how different details can be taken in different ways, and how in one way it can be used to make the world feel more immersive and have the storytelling be more immersive. In another way, it can pull you right out of it. It'll rip you right off like a Band-Aid, and take you right out of the story completely. And this is not even like the gist of it. I could go on all day about the problems with the world building in RWBY, and I can go all day about the good things about the world building in Hunter x Hunter. Do Hunter x Hunter do they get everything perfect? No. But for the most part, it's good. And for the most part, it's bad in this show. So, but that's integral settings for you. In closing, writers need to respect their worlds. As simple as that. Make the characters feel small and don't bend the characters to your worlds. Because if you do, it's going to feel inauthentic. It's going to feel fake and not real. You want your world to feel real as much as possible. That way, when things happen, you're more invested and you care more because you set up a world that is believable. And that will make your storytelling much better for me, from someone who's a observer, from a viewer, from the audience perspective. That's my opinion. Jesus. Going back on RWBY, man. Talking about RWBY, man. I wanted to take a break from it, but world building was on my mind, and I wanted to talk to you guys. So, this is how it happened. Hey, Hunter x Hunter, perfectly, buddy. Yeah. I love that anime. My favorite character from Hunter x Hunter, I think my favorite anime character from Hunter x Hunter is Killua. So that in itself is like a big thing. Because for the longest time I did not have a favorite character. So now I call it Killua. That shows you how much I enjoyed the show. It's very good, very well done. The world building is solid. Now it's not perfect, but it's good enough that I really, really, really enjoy that anime. Neutral Force. Oh, let me check the super chats over here. That way I'm not missing any of them, just in case. RWBY needs to be put on blast next season for being a terrible leader. Yeah, like that'll happen. Who's gonna do it? There's no one who's gonna do it. They've set up this show and this story so that RWBY is now like the ultimate leader. She's the ultimate leader, so no one's gonna really check her. Yang tried to a little bit at the beginning of Volume 8, and that didn't really go anywhere. So RWBY acknowledged that she wasted her time. She had that bit of acknowledgement, but that didn't really go anywhere. She then came up with a plan. They all came up with a bad plan to make that little pocket dimension for them to travel through, and they all fell into Volume 9. So yeah, I don't think anyone will be checking RWBY anytime soon. She's the leader of the free world now, so we'll see how that goes, I guess. Oh, Gun is your favorite anime character? Murder? It's Killua for me, but I love Gun too. I just like those characters. I love that world. It's they do a good job over there. It's impressive, I must say. I like that. I like that anime a lot. Okay, let me just stare at the chat. How long did this stream even go? Let me see. How long did the stream go? Oh, about an hour. Wow. Short stream. Let's see. Ruby's a horrible character. Hey Arnold. Yes, Hey Arnold's another good show. I love Hey Arnold. That might be my favorite. No, it's definitely Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then maybe Hey Arnold is second. I think it's second after that. Yeah, I think it goes Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then Hey Arnold is my favorite animation. My favorite Nickelodeon shows, I think. But don't quote me on that. I haven't thought about that in a while. RWBY is God confirmed, pretty much. Hunter x Hunter manga started around the same time as One Piece. I see you. All right, see you. Thanks. See ya, Jen. Appreciate it. How do you feel about JoJo's The Bizarre Adventure? Never seen it. If there's one person that can slap some sense into RWBY, it's none other than Raven Bronwyn. I could see that. I could see like Raven not bowing down to RWBY at least, but Raven has her own host of problems. But I could see that for sure. It's funny because Team RWBY should be famous, but in a negative way. Well, definitely, Yang. But even if you don't want to go that route, at the very least, people should know who she is, very clearly and very visibly. They should know who she is. She doesn't look like everyone else in the show. She doesn't look like a stock character. So I'm not sure why people aren't noticing her. Well, I know why they're not, because the writers have forgotten it, which is very, very unfortunate. Writers have never. Okay. I got that threw me off just now. Hopefully we don't have a clown in the chat. See you, Jen. Hey Arnold, the best anime. Okay. The whole Vital Festival thing is very large plot hole. When you said that, I immediately thought about Osmond. The King of Vale is heavily implied to be reincarnation of Ozma. Where does he fit? Yeah, the King of Vale is definitely Ozma and Osmond. They're all the same. Yeah, I don't know. It's possible that whole 80 years thing has been retconned. Maybe. You have to talk to the writers. They retcon things here and there, so I'm not sure if that's the case. Oh, the girl called Atlas the Fall. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, she's definitely tied to Atlas at this point. We just don't know how far it goes. What's happening today? Oh yeah, the Oscars are today. There's the Oscars. The long-awaited Oscars is today. I'm sure a lot of you will be checking that out. I think it's on Calaxon's channel. Arnold, is that correct? The Oscars. They put a lot of work into that, and I've been seeing it on my Twitter feed for a while now. So the Oscars is dropping today. I think it's on Calaxon's channel, where the fandom got together and voted on the best of Volume 8. So if it's anything like last year, I'll be able to guess all of the answers correctly. Because it was funny, literally last year with the Oscars, presented by Murder and Calaxon, I believe. I guessed all of the fandom's answers to all the questions, like best fight, best character, best all that stuff. I guessed it because the fandom is predictable in that regard, very predictable. Obviously, they disagree with me most of the time. Like I thought Ironwood versus Watts was the best fight, but they chose RWBY versus the Aesops, which I knew they would do. Also, RWBY indirectly caused the fall of Atlas. And the SDC is gone forever and no more dust. I don't know if there's no more dust because there still might be dust mines in Vacuo and stuff like that. But yeah, RWBY. I can't remember Volume 8. Damn. I don't remember anything before RWBY and Team RWBY creates a new body for Penny. I don't remember anything before that at all. Oh, man. All right, guys. Fun fact, Neo has caused less destruction than Team RWBY and company. Yeah, but Neo's like a nothing character, but I agree with you. I hate Neo's character. All right, guys. That's a wrap for this stream. Appreciate you. Thanks, Arnold, for stopping by. Thanks for the mods for joining in. I'm sure some of you guys will be watching the Oscars, so go ahead and do that. I will see you guys now. So here's the thing. Here's a suggestion. I was going to talk about because I saw that a lot of people in my Star Wars videos were asking me about Star Wars. So I was thinking about doing a stream on that. So I might do that next. It depends on how I feel this upcoming week. But I want to be more frequent with the streams and more frequent with content. So don't be surprised if you see another stream about my thoughts on Star Wars and other shit besides Star Wars. We'll see. It has to be something I care about, because if it's not something I care about at all, then I'm not going to want to talk about it. All right. See you, Murder. See you, Toby. All right. See you guys later. Appreciate you guys. I will talk to you guys